all indications right now are that Tyler Shough he's in a great spot to be the starter for the New Orleans Saints. Like, we've just forgotten that Tyler Shough is, like, thanks to the retirement of Derek Carr that most people didn't see coming, and whether or not the Saints knew, I don't know. We'll debate that all day. But I keep going back to when he was drafted, and Nate Tice made it clear the entire time we were doing our draft show. Tice made it clear that the Saints liked Shough. Well, now he's going to start, Jori. So, like, I think it's interesting to me that the Saints have fallen so far off the radar for people that we're forgetting that they're going to be starting, an 873-year-old rookie quarterback week 1 in all likelihood coming into this season.
Well, again, I would say that the same way, by all accounts, Cam Ward wants to be under the radar, and that's something I heard more from his friends and family telling me. I can assure you, after covering Kellen Moore as a player, a quarterback's coach, offensive coordinator, and now he's a head coach, that Kellen Moore wants nothing more for us to not talk about him. I mean, let's just say, if I'm Kellen Moore or if I'm Kellen Moore's agent, I'm being like, wait, no. Let's give the quarterback a little bit of time to develop. Let's wait, because if ownership thinks that you have a roster that should be winning now and a quarterback that you should be winning with now, then your clock starts in terms of how long you have to get it right. And I don't believe that the Saints roster as a whole is set up to be super competitive and win. I think that there are multiple pieces and that they do need to have a degree of rebuild. And so you put a quarterback in right away. I think there are people in New Orleans, however, who would say, you know what? If this guy is the best quarterback on our roster right now and we can protect him, like there's not a huge injury risk, then we should put him in. I will say I like that they took Tyler Shough in the second round rather than the first, which you could say, okay, they still put a premium pick on him, but getting Kelvin Banks Jr. as their left tackle, that is going to be huge for getting a quarterback there. You're getting a premium offensive lineman who will be able to protect him. It's also interesting because you have Kellen Moore, who ran an entire OTAs and minicamp session without having 11 on 11. They only did 7 on 7, according to ESPN reporter Kat Terrell. So I think that that's interesting when you think about, hey, let's really learn this offense in a progression and see what he can do. I would expect Tyler Shough to be starting week 1. I think that he will be given every opportunity to win that job. And I think that they want to learn and grow with him. And then I would say, if I'm Kellen Moore, what I want to do is what Cliff Kingsbury did with Jaden Daniels last year, another quarterback who obviously had a large volume of exposure at the college level. And what they did is they said, okay, let's start off with the simpler, more college level concepts. And that's not a knock on Jaden Daniels. It's just, why don't you gain confidence with these simpler concepts, or these concepts that are more familiar with you, I should say, at the pro level, and then we'll continue to add over the course of the season. And all of a sudden, what do you know? They're in the NFC Championship. So I think that if that's what you should be doing with Tyler Shough, is really saying, start with what you're good at, then add. And like, part of that is in the teaching progression, and part of that is when you get to week 1 and beyond.
You know how I feel about this. I hated the pick. I thought it was a waste. I think that the odds of Tyler Shough being the guy at the end of the season where they're like, yes, you're a guy of the future, are so minimal. And a second round pick is valuable for a team like the Saints, who have an absolutely decaying roster with kind of one blue chip player under the age of 27. And that's Chris Olave, who has concussion issues. You could have used that pick for the next quarterback. And what's going to happen, and I will laugh incredibly much when it does happen, Tyler Shough is going to be just good enough to get them to like 5 wins, and they're going to miss out on a top 3 pick, and they're going to miss out on a quarterback they want to draft. And goodness, if it's Arch Manning, they will never get over it in New Orleans. So this pick was just meaningless. It was just bad. You're drafting a guy who has played 7 college seasons. He's already pretty old. Like I'm watching, I pay attention to basketball too. I love basketball. When the NBA draft guys are like, well, that guy's 23, he's already maxed out. And you think about Tyler Shough, this is who he is. I don't think there's another level he's going to. He's kind of what he is. He needs to be starting week 1 because he needs to be an out-of-the-box starter. He's not a guy you develop for 2 years because he's going to be collecting his pension by then. Like, I just didn't understand the pick. I don't understand what the Saints are doing. They have no self-awareness about what they are as a franchise. This is just another example. They wasted a second-round pick. They're going to be drafting their quarterback next April, and hopefully they're drafting in that top 3 or 4 and not like 10th where they're just getting who's left over. So I didn't like the pick, but yes, Tyler Shough is going to start week 1. I think he's okay. I think he's going to be fine, but that's kind of the problem. He's going to be just good enough to get the Saints to, like, again, 5 or 6 wins. What does that accomplish? Like, the odds of Shough being their dude going forward prove me wrong. Let's say that. I just don't see it happening.
Also, for point of reference, for actual numbers, he will turn 26 on September 28th of this year. So a month into the season, 3 weeks into the season, he will be a 26-year-old rookie quarterback. That is part of why we make these comments. And the other part of it is, I mean, Jori mentioned Kellen Moore. I do want to point out Kellen Moore had tremendous success working in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. And, you know, he obviously had success with the Chargers working with Justin Herbert. And before that, he worked with Dak Prescott. Like, 26-year-old rookie quarterback with Kellen Moore. We have no idea. I cannot look at anybody squarely in the eyes and tell them, I know based on this, and this. I can't find the math that tells me that Kellen Moore is going to be the great quarterback whisperer to develop a rookie quarterback. I just, how do we know?
I think he will be, but I think it's going to be in 2026. I think Kellen Moore is going to get his guy next year in the top however many picks of the draft, and then he's going to have his guy. Like, and that's perfectly fine. But that's why the Saints should have just been like, yeah, you know what, Spencer Rattler, take the season. We'll figure it out later.
And they still might, but they might get into rookie camp and decide that that's the way they're going to go too.